Classic Rock Radio.
Stripped Bear, wie ist es entstanden?
It was done in my studio at home where all the Status Quo albums are done. And the idea to have the picture in the nude was, you know, you don't want to do those kind of things, but everything seems to be about marketing these days. If you don't get the marketing first, people won't listen to the music.
Wie habt ihr das so ausgewählt? Warum kamen genau die Songs auf das Album?
We'd had a list of about 60 or 70 songs, and some we tried, some we thought didn't work, and some worked instantly. One song that wasn't working was a track called Rain, and then John Edwards, the bass player, came in a day after, and he chopped some of the riff into little pieces. And once you got a spark in the room that there's a way to go, then the rest of the thing followed. So it was songs we thought would work didn't work, and songs we thought didn't work did work. And there's also talk of another one, so you might revisit things now that you have an idea of how these things happen. But if it's not successful enough, then you wouldn't do number 2.
Wie läuft es beim Songschreiben? Schreibst du die Songs selber? Bist du so der Big Boss von Status Quo?
I think when we were younger, perhaps there was more people would get involved. But usually when you've written a song, and I'm considerably older than I was, so I know what I'm looking for in a song that I've written. And I dare say the rest of the individuals do. We tend to lean towards the individual that's written the song. However, with this thing, there was myself, John and Andrew Bown. Rick couldn't be there at the beginning. And it was very much it was unusual in that respect because the songs were already known, so everybody's ideas got really, and perhaps that's what was so enjoyable about the project.
Gibt's einen Song, den du am liebsten hast auf dem neuen Album?
To have one favourite song of a kind of a greatest hits album would be very sad. Even if I ask you what's your favourite movie, you can't have one favourite movie in life.
Francesco, du machst unfassbar lange schon Musik, 50 Jahre. Ist man noch nervös, wenn man auf die Bühne geht vor so einem Auftritt?
No, I don't get nervous, I get frightened. There's fear, it's different. I've realised that the older I get, the more frightened I get in case it goes wrong. And I think I must have been frightened when I was younger. But with youth, bravado comes through. And as I get older, I get more and more frightened. Right. But I need to go and do it for some. So there's a contradiction between being shy and being a show-off. I want to go on stage and show off, otherwise I would stay home. I wouldn't have come here today if I didn't have a certain amount that wants to show off and be on camera or be on microphone. So there's a contradiction all the time.
Francis, ihr kommt in die Saarlandhalle, spielt ein Konzert zusammen mit Lou Gramm. Das ist schon mal großes Tennis, aber was erwartet uns genau, wer noch nie einen Auftritt von euch gesehen hat? Wie wird das Konzert in der Saarlandhalle?
We're going to do the Pink Floyd and the Rolling Stones catalogue. We're fed up with.
Really?
We will do what we're expected to do. Really, there'll be quite a few of the hits, some of the more favourite album tracks, and we're going to rehearsals next week, and try and put a set together that's slightly different than the last one. It's increasingly difficult to make a set different just to be different. And you have to try and structure it together that it works and has some sort of flow. But we will do what people expect of us. That's why if they come to see Status Quo. So I won't do the Pink Floyd or Rolling Stones catalogue.
Eben hast du gesagt...
Sorry.
Kein Problem, no problem. Eben hast du gesagt, du kannst dich nicht so festlegen auf einen Lieblingssong auf dem Album, aber gibt es einen Song, den du am liebsten live auf der Bühne spielst?
Probably a track called I wrote with John Edwards called The Oriental. It's completely non-PC and basically has 2 chords. We tried to write a song because of the thing about the 3 chords. We tried to see if we could do a song that's 2 chords, and it's all about liking Oriental women. And obviously it's non-PC, you mustn't say that. And I actually mentioned in the song that I don't want a Russian. There's no discussion. It's got to be an Oriental. And I like the idea of it being non-PC. So probably the favourite track is The Oriental.
Ihr seid große Rockstars. Jetzt gibt es ganz, ganz viele Leute, die sagen, ich will auch ein Rockstar sein. Hast du einen Tipp für die Leute, die noch klein in ihrer Garderobe spielen?
I tell them, forget it.
Why?
No, it's good advice, because if the young person in question has what it takes, he will not listen to the old fool. If he doesn't have what it takes, he will listen to the wise old gentleman. And generally, I think with today's acts in the X Factor generation, is young people are told by their parent, "You're so good, darling. You're so good, darling. You're so good, darling. Darling, you're so good. You're so good, darling." So darling sits there waiting for someone to find him. When my generation, well, yeah, you're good, but you don't have much chance. And a lot of the early press for Status Quo was negative, and it makes you, and you fight. If I keep telling you you're no good, you're going to try and prove to me you are. And that if I tell you you're fabulous, then you sit there going, fabulous. So we need something with the young people to make them fight.
Okay, und wenn du zurückdenkst, so an eure Karriere, was war der außergewöhnlichste Ort, wo ihr ein Konzert gespielt habt?
Most unusual place was a place in Australia called Grantchester. I think there's a population of 120 people. It was a promotional event. But we've played many places. I've played down a salt mine. I've played up in a snowstorm by the Eiger. And I was asked the other day by an American, what was the favourite concert ever? And there was a gig in Anaheim, in a blues club in Anaheim, that I thought was the best concert we ever played. And it would be nice to be able to take that somewhere and say, look, this was a good one. And you never seem to... It always seems to be the places that you wouldn't expect to be. You know, people expect you to play the big festivals, and this must be fantastic. Well, no, it's a big festival. And sometimes that little gig that no one wasn't very important. We played so beautifully that night. But that's gone. And it's frustrating that tonight we might play the best gig any band has ever played. It's no good tomorrow. You have to do something else.
Viel auf Tour seid ihr. Unterkunftmäßig, was hast du da lieber? So ein Liner, so ein Nightliner oder doch dann dekadent Hotel?
I don't do hotels. I do buses. I have, because you have the same pillow, the same bed. I sleep in the same bed every night. The last 2 nights I've been doing this promo, I had to sleep in hotels. I don't like hotels. In the 70s, maybe when you were younger, it was fantastic. You have a new suite and it's like... But whenever I wake in a hotel, it's like, I want to commit suicide. So I stay on the bus. I like the buses.
Und was vermisst du auf Tour?
When you commit to doing a tour, there's something I like about touring. We start next week, and I get on the bus, and it's like a travelling home. The Chinese lady looks after us all. I'm with my friends. We get to tour around, and it's something I always wanted to do. But there's something much better in the familiarity of having your room with you and all your... My God, you're an attractive woman. Of having all the room familiar around me. And I've realised that when we used to tour America, the American bands would laugh at you for using airplanes. And now I understand why. What do you want to go on an airplane for? I've got to get on an airplane this afternoon. It's horrendous. You've been to an airport. It's not fun.
Classic Rock Radio.